Right, I'm here with Sharoy. We've just witnessed Arsenal, very frustrating afternoon away to Fulham. But I want to pull things back a bit. This morning, there would have been a degree of optimism with Liverpool's match Everton called off. This was an opportunity for Arsenal to go to Fulham, win, and put some scoreboard pressure on Liverpool. Obviously, that hasn't happened. How upset, frustrated, annoyed are you by that?
Nauseous. I feel sick. I feel sick. Not just because of the fact that it looks like in this title race, having incrementally improved year after year from eighth to fifth to second to a slightly closer second, that we're maybe going to go out sad this year. We created more than enough in that second half to have won that game. And if you go back, if anyone can be bothered, go back to my fan cam against West Ham. I said that the one thing that would be unforgivable is to give Liverpool what looks like a free run. The only way you're going to pull back that gap, excuse me, sorry, the only way you're going to be able to pull back that gap is do exactly as you just said, apply scoreboard pressure. And this isn't one of those games that, and this is no disrespect to Fulham, but this isn't one of those games that you can look at and say, I completely understand why the result panned out the way it did. It's not. Maybe in isolation, but when you've dropped points against Brighton, when you've dropped points against City, I understand that that's a game where you can drop points, but we had taken the lead there. When you've taken the lead twice against Liverpool at home, and you've dropped points there, when you've lost to Bournemouth, when all of these things happen, and you get back to 1-1 in a game like this with that much time to go, and you can't get it over the line, it's sickening, and it's perhaps making me feel more nauseous because I celebrated the goal, genuinely thinking that we'd won it. Horrible, horrible match to watch.
Yeah, I must admit, it was an absolute exercise in frustration, that game. I mean, I would say, and you can correct me if you think I'm wrong, that we actually got off to a decent start. When I say decent start, I mean we pushed Fulham back right from the off. They kind of adopted the stance of a team that was actually playing away from home. They had to tuck in. As we're watching, I've just seen Tottenham now gone 2-0 up, which is explains some of the noise around.
Sad thing is I don't care about this result now. I honestly don't care about this result. But yeah, sorry, go back to your question.
No, well, I was just trying to frame it in terms of Chelsea are behind us in the table right now. So maybe we should take a little bit of solace in that. But anyway, let's get back to today. Yeah, so I thought we made a decent start. Okay, didn't score or whatever, but I thought we pushed them back, kind of, frame the reference for the rest of the game. But then conceding that goal in the 11th minute, I think that took some of the confidence out of our sails in terms of just the body language. I don't know. Did you pick that up or what?
Yeah, you know what? I understand that to an extent, all right. And we don't have the sound on when we do these watch-alongs, so maybe the Fulham fans really got behind their team for the rest of that first half. But we're in a situation now where a lot of people are going to be giving Kivior a lot of criticism for that goal. Most defenders would have dealt with that a lot better, in all honesty. But he is not someone that ought to be starting for Arsenal Football Club, which is why he's not someone that regularly starts for Arsenal Football Club. He is really, really far down in the pecking order. Find me a club where your third, fourth choice left back would do that. My point here is he didn't even have to be on the pitch in that position. He didn't have to be on the pitch in that position. Miles Lewis-Skelly could have occupied that position if need be, Why not take the chance? Had we taken the chance there, we would have probably had Timber in the position where he's looked the best this year. We would have probably had Partey in the position where he looked the best this year. And at the end of the first half, I was looking more towards team selection. But then Laurie, the second half happened. And how Thomas Partey doesn't bury that header, having missed the header that he did against Manchester United and got away with it. As a professional footballer, you cannot do that 2 weeks in a row. This isn't me catastrophizing. This isn't me over-dramatizing. This isn't me picking on players. I might see some of that in the comments, but honestly, today, I'm not having it. Kai Havertz, I don't know whether he's inside the 6-yard box or just outside it. There's a chance where he can go to the goalkeeper's left, he can go to the goalkeeper's right. Even, in my opinion, a centre-back would have probably hit the target in that situation. This then turns into a tame P-roller wide of the post. It's unforgivable. It's unforgivable. A ball over the top. Talk about the wind, talk about the flight of the ball, talk about the fact that it might have held up on the turf. Nonsense. Gabriel Jesus is in that position. With me saying that Kai Havertz hadn't done enough to justify staying on the pitch, and me saying bring Gabriel Jesus on. Gabriel Jesus is looking over his shoulder, not taking a chance on it, and doesn't even go for it. He would have
Yeah,
been
he seemed
right
to
in front of Leno.
prevaricate, or is that a sign of loss of confidence? Was he not brave enough there? Was there a disconnect between the brain and the rest of his body? What is it with him?
I have no idea, but you take a chance, man.
Yeah.
When your team needs a winner, you take a chance on that. I'm looking at all of that. And it's sickening. But then we have the one that I thought won us the game. The one where Bukayo Saka headers it in, and on the watch along, I'm screaming out, big moments, player. The reason I wasn't worried about the offside is because the person who might have been offside wasn't a centre forward, where he's looking one way, but there could have been players behind it. None of that. You're talking about a winger on the touchline who's front-facing, looking at the entire back line. This isn't a situation where he's trying to get in behind and the ball's being played in front of him. This is a situation where the ball's coming directly to him. There is no excuse to be offside in that situation. And
Absolutely not. And the fact that as well, he's an experienced player now. He's a young player, but he's an experienced player all the same. He's Brazilian international, represented Arsenal now for numerous games. To me, that was quite reckless on his behalf. He should not be making a mistake like that.
Unforgivable, but that, and also there were times where he was just putting in very, very tame crosses straight into Leno's hands. There was a time where he just threw the ball on the floor and got a booking, a level of petulance and ill-discipline that is not something that I think is tolerated in the Arteta squad. And then he starts trying to have a scrap towards the end when you know they're not going to add the equivalent time on, my friend. You know they don't add it on second for second. Our title is slipping away, and you're losing your head to that extent. Trossard and Martinelli, there are so many people that say both of them might feel aggrieved that they don't start more. We have a problem down that flank now, man. We have a problem down that flank now.
Some people would say, why isn't Sterling being given an opportunity?
But again, looking at his cameos when he's come on, he hasn't given anyone enough encouragement either. And I know he hasn't had that many
Although, to be
opportunities.
fair, he's not really had many opportunities.
I know. But look, we're in a situation now where before the season started, before the window closed, everyone was saying, get the 9, get the 9, get the 9. We didn't get the 9, so everyone said, fine. If the 9 you want isn't eligible for whatever reason, get the left winger. Get the goal-scoring left winger. Because if we have 2/3 of our attacking front line being a relative unknown going into this season, there is a good chance that we don't win this league. Now, when I'm looking around at the teams around us, okay, is it a foregone conclusion that you'd choose Havertz and Jesus over Jackson and Kunku?
Oh, hell no.
Right.
No.
And this is a team that no one thought would be in and amongst it. Again, we don't even need to have the Haaland conversation because we know what that guy's about. People can talk about Núñez all they want, but would I be out of line for saying Diogo Jota is probably a better finisher than all of our starting options up front, apart from maybe Bukayo Saka?
Not at all.
No. And he's not their only option. We're forgetting the fact that I'm talking about him when they have a world-class Premier League all-timer in Mohamed Salah playing for them. Ollie Watkins and John Duran. Would you take one of them at Arsenal right now?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah?
Hell yeah.
Yeah? Players like Brian and Mbeumo, for example. I think Brentford are the top scoring team in the league this season.
And Mbeumo and Wissa are doing numbers this season.
And bro, I could keep going down the list. A team that has done so much wonderful work to get that close. And we're now sat here talking about maybe we bring Raheem Sterling on.
I think what today exposed as well is our over-dependency on Saka and Odegaard.
Yeah.
Yes, the set pieces come in handy. Again, it did today. But looking at some of those players, man, they really do need to step it up. But in closing, because, I mean, I could talk to you about football all day long, but, you know, we've got a finite amount of time.
I mean, I'm sorry, I've barely spoken about the game, but that's
I know. Well, the game is what it is. I think we should just cut to the chase. We dropped points. It's an unfortunate situation because Liverpool obviously didn't play this weekend. We thought we could close the gap by a more significant margin. We failed to do so. I guess, in short, is the title over or are we still in it?
For me, it's done. And I know that now that I've said that, there will be comments here, and when I go on X, I'll be getting atted, and they'll say, hold on, we were 9 points behind them a week ago, and people felt we were still in it. Now what's it, 6 with the game in hand?
Yeah.
Fine, okay. you don't get that many opportunities in title races. With Liverpool dropping points and then not playing again, we had to apply that scoreboard pressure. If you're looking at a team now with the wind in their sails, free from the weight of the world on their shoulders, because no one expects them to do anything with a new manager, with a world-class Mohamed Salah, with Jota returning, with Konate and Van Dijk, with Trent in there, with all of these players, I don't understand how rationally you can look at this and say it would not have to be one of the most catastrophic fall-offs from Liverpool for anyone else to be in with a shout. And secondly, even if it's not Liverpool, there is nothing to guarantee that it's going to be us at this moment in time, because we build up a little sort of head of steam and then something like this happens. We're at a situation right now where we're in a borderline defensive crisis in many ways. I don't know what's wrong with Gabriel. I know how long Ben White's out for. I don't know what's wrong with Calafiori. I don't know what's wrong with Zinchenko. I don't know what's wrong with Tomiyasu. Is Tierney ever going to get a game? He hasn't played for us for a very long time. That's 6 defenders I've just named. That's 6 defenders. We're in a situation where all of our rotational options up front, every single rotational option up front, doesn't look like they can impact the trajectory of a game. So what on earth is there for me to believe in terms of the Premier League only, to suggest that we can have the consistency required to get over the line in the most elite league in Europe? As sad as it is to say, in December, I am now looking at all of the other competitions and saying, you know what? It looks like City and Madrid may not qualify for the Champions League. Go hell for leather. Go hell for leather. I'm now looking at Man United in January or whatever it is in the FA Cup and saying you need to smoke them and get through the next round. We need to take something home this year. But for me, Laurie, it's not going to be the Premier League.
Okay, very honest and forthright there from Sharoy. He's given his assessment and it's not good. But anyway, thank you very much for watching.